everyone, thank you for joining today's stream. I am Jacob the Snack. I will be bringing you today's Formula Pals event. We've brought the traveling circus over to the USA today in Wisconsin. We'll be racing at the fabled Road America, as you can see right here by the Sargento Cheese Bridge, very iconic of the track. We'll be crossing under that several times today. If this is your first time in, welcome. We are in the middle of the second season of the Formula Pals car. We have put 2 races under the belt of this season so far. Only 6 races this season, a shorter season. Let's take a quick look at the current driver standings as they sit so far this season. So far, it's car creator Milt up at the top of the leaderboard for the series so far with 2 straight victories. 100% win rate for Mr. Milt, followed closely with 2 second-place finishes by Darkius. Letra Sloth rounding out the 3rd position. Now, there's a lot of jostling just below them, a lot of cars, a lot of drivers within 10 to 15 points. So a lot could change this week, especially with a couple of key outages. The Team Waifu Hunters have both drivers out today. That includes 4th place Suicidal Cookie, who took 3rd place in last week's race. Each driver will have, I believe, 1 drop week this season to mark off their worst finish. So Cookie will definitely be using his drop week for this week. He needs to make sure he doesn't have any bad finishes so that he can finish as strongly as possible this season. Let's switch over to the team standings to see where we're at there. Currently, the Penguin Virtuosos sit atop the leaderboard, but Spectre Racing is very close behind. I know it's only 2 races in, a lot can happen, but these are 2 very strong teams with 4 very strong drivers on them. I expect them to be battling for a top position for the rest of the season. IPOS Racing, a new team this season, has snuck into 3rd place rather quietly so far. They've been doing a good job of finishing consistently and doing a good job of just taking points where they can get them. And then there's a nice battle for 4th below. There are several teams very close within within 10 points of that 40 mark. A lot up for grabs there. Like we noted earlier, Waifu Hunters, both drivers are out right now. They do have 1 replacement driver racing for them for today, so this won't be a total wash for the Waifu Hunters team, at least. But that'll be another thing to keep an eye on as the season progresses. A lot of drama can erupt from both standings. So today's race, the 3rd race at Road America, let's take a quick look at the track map. The track map is a bit of a strange one. There's a lot of numbered turns on this track that a lot of the drivers don't really consider turns. And they start out early, too. Turn 1 is the 90-degree right after the long front stretch. And then turn 2 is just sort of a kink in the road. Not necessarily a true turn that drivers really even think about. So turn 3 is the second true turn that you're going to see. Turn 4 is just another bend in the long straight heading back just under the cheese walkway that we noted earlier in the stream. Turn 5 and 6 are both strong left-handers. Turn 6 is a blind turn. Drivers have been building up their bravery as best as they can for that turn. Turn 7 is a fast right-hander on the edge of grip, going back downhill to turn 8, to perhaps the track's most well-known turn, the Carousel. It is a over 180-degree turn to the right with gentle banking. It seems like nobody really knows the best way to get through Carousel. And we also note some strange numberings again with Carousel having turns 9 and 10 numbers for them. Another iconic turn just after the Carousel is a fast kink, the right-hand number 11. Now, with these cars and their new aero packages, a lot of these drivers are taking this turn flat out as fast as they can, but they have noted that it's at the limit of grip and aerodynamics for these vehicles. So, making sure your line is correct through that turn is the best way to maximize your lap time. We might see a couple of major incidents coming through there. The track really gets narrow after the kink, and if anyone messes up their line, slides, spins, we could be seeing some serious trouble there. Kettle Bottom Straight, well, not necessarily a straight, is a gentle left, surprisingly, not numbered, into another 90-degree right at turn 12. Lots of runoff room on turn 12, and today's race stewards have decided that if it's gray, it's okay. Track limits are pretty much okay as long as it's not just a complete and utter corner cut through the grass. We're going to be okay to be racing it today. Turn 13 is a fast left-hander over a top of a hill. Might see a couple of drivers stick the back end out there, but should be at high enough speeds that the aero keeps the cars in check. And then turn 14 is a very tricky turn for a lot of drivers. We've seen a lot of drivers commit too early to the apex as this turn is over 90 degrees. And it's sort of a medium slow corner, so it's really easy to get a little ahead of yourself and commit too early into that turn, causing you to really either understeer wide or have to just throw away all of the speed that you brought into the turn to keep in on the apex, which is just an absolute killer going down the Road America Straight. In case you did not know, the Road America Straight starts with a very, very steep climb up the hill, and then a long run to the start-finish line and back to turn 1. So, some observations we've been making from practice so far. You may notice on the scoreboard right now that Milt has run a lap about a second faster than anyone else. It's worth noting that I believe most drivers have been practicing with their race fuel in the car, and up until about maybe 10 to 15 minutes before the end of practice here, Milt was running about the same times as the leaders, so I believe he actually put qualifying fuel into the car and started running laps and ran a very, very fast lap. So what that actually means is pretty much the entire top 10 are running within a second or so of each other, which is going to mean a nice big pack to watch racing today. Slipstream is going to play a huge, huge part in today's race. There are two incredibly long straights in the first sector of this course, and then there's that long straight at the very end as well, just before turn number, not looking at the track map to check that out, just before turn 12, between the kink and turn 12. So there is going to be tons of slipstreaming action, slipstream passes. Oh, Thomas Jack puts a wheel in the grass there and spins it around at the end of practice. We're going to see tons of slipstream, maybe some drivers saddlebagging a little bit, trying to remain slow so that they can conserve their tires and make the move when they can and stay within that slipstream of the leaders ahead. Lots of strategies to keep an eye on. It's going to be a great race. We are counting down to qualifying. We're going to have a 20-minute open qualifying session. All drivers are okay to enter the track at the same time. And then the race is going to be 45 minutes plus 1 lap. So, what are you feeling, crowd and viewers? Is there anything you want to add? Anything that we should cover in this race so far? I'm glad that Iceman's noted that we are the real cheese people. Yes, that is the most iconic part of this track. That bridge over the long second straight is just honestly the best part of this track. There's also a very large sort of lawn chair at this track. It's enormous. I think it's about 10 to 15 feet tall. And we've been trying to figure out, does it have a name? Is it sponsored? Why is there an enormous chair at the track? One of the community members, Transbaconist, went so far as to message the live chat of the racetrack on the internet and asked, what is the name of the chair? And unfortunately, the representative of the track noted it doesn't have a name. So, I mean, if you own a business and you're looking to sponsor an enormous chair at a cool racetrack, what are you waiting for? Call up Road America. All right. Practice has just begun to kick off. I've got to hit my car there. Okay. Very good. And then we can start to keep an eye on the cars as they roll out. I appear to be alone on the server. What's going on? Let me check and make sure that we didn't have a server reset. Perhaps there was a race, a car livery that was not properly applied, which does unfortunately require a server reset to get applied to the correct driver. I'm not seeing anything in... Oh, I think I've just reconnected to the server. What's going on here? Perhaps this was an error on my part. Okay. Alright, yeah, we seem to be rolling again. I guess that one was my error. Or perhaps my internet connection not working out too well. Drivers making their way out on their outlap. We'll keep an eye on Darkius as he rolls through here. Our second place in the Drivers' Championship, Darkius. Spectre revealing a new livery for their race team today. And you might recognize Spectre as normally having a black and purple livery. They've got some black and purple still on the car. They've gone with a darker, deeper blue-green and some new 007 sponsorship. So I think if you didn't keep your eye on Darkius and Deep Cuts before with Team Spectre, now you've got an even better reason to do so now. As this one came out quite nicely. Darkius coming around turn 14, making his way up the very tall hill down the Road America straight. He'll be starting his lap here shortly. He's got some good open room ahead of him. If he can really stick a good lap time out there, he might even get a little slipstream of that IPOS car ahead. Let's ride along with Darkius as he runs here into turn 1. As you can see, most drivers have been running very wide through turn 1, and that is okay with the track limits set up by the stewards. They are okay with the drivers running out wide. Same here with turn 3's rumble strips. The only time that stewards are not going to be permitting running off the track, if you were to call it that, is going through grass. Rather than trying to pick and choose where the best place to permit it, we're just going to roll with it and make sure that the drivers respect the true track limits. Nailing the apex there on turn number 5, heading up over the top of the hill to turn 6. That even from this vantage point above the driver's helmet, that turn is completely blind. So really knowing your turn in point is key for all of those drivers here. Turn 7, nice and clean, maximizing the track width. Hard braking into turn 8. Looking clean so far. We've hit the carousel. The long right-hander. Drivers have to remain so patient and try to remember the best time to power back on so that they can maximize that exit speed. Here we go through the kink. A well-executed line there. Perfect. Down the kettle bottoms straight here, coming into Canada corner, hard on the brakes again. Looking good, lots of run out room there. Uses a touch. Speeding back through Thunder Valley, over the Bill Mitchell bend, turn 13. And then difficult braking into turn 14. Oh, and then Darkius commits a little bit early. an error that many drivers are prone to commit just by the shape of the turn. I'm not sure if that made his lap time invalid. He has not come up on the leaderboard yet, so perhaps it hasn't. Let's ride along with another driver here behind Darkius. Oh, if someone's exiting the pits there. We'll ride along with Milt. Oh, Milt has had a big wiggle into turn 1 here, so that's going to invalidate his lap. Let's take another step back, see if we can find another driver to ride with here. Trainboy 2005. Now, if you're looking for a dark horse this race, someone who might sneak up into the podium, I would look this way at Trainboy 2005's Full Steam Racing. Trainboy has fully committed to this race, ladies and gentlemen. A huge amount of laps for someone to put into practice for a Formula Pals race might be somewhere upwards of 40 to 50 laps. And Trainboy has seen that figure and laughed at it. Laughed at it, ladies and gentlemen. He has done over 200 laps in preparation for today's event. Yes, that is correct. I've checked the stats. I've checked the server numbers. Over 200 laps. He came in for practice before this event too, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 225 laps. He knows exactly the fastest line to put that Formula Pals car and gain speed, and just trying to maximize the car and get everything he can out of it is going to be key for him today. We saw him get a little bit of a lockup into turn number 8 there, but that's not going to slow him down too much. He had a pretty solid lap going so far. Looking good through the kink. Let's see. I feel like I should be seeing some times now at this point. Let me see if there's anything I can do to make it pop up. Nothing yet, but that's fine. We've still got plenty of qualifying time left. Last time I streamed, the qualifying times did not pop up until very late. Right, Trainboy's coming up the tall hill down the road America Straight. There we go. There's a time coming up. They'll start coming up now. Darkies puts in a 2:25.8, a very solid time. Trainboy a 2:26.5, a good banker lap. So, to put these times into perspective, we'll switch over here to Deep Cuts to watch him take a lap. As all the other times just decide to strew right in. Oh, and Deep Cut's actually going to return to the pits here, so we will ride along with Letra's Sloth here with IPOS Racing. But to put these times into perspective, on race fuel in early practice, the absolute fastest times that we were seeing were about at 2:26.1, right around there from our fastest drivers on their fastest lap. So when these cars are down on qualifying fuel and possibly qualifying trim, if they've decided to make any setup adjustments, we're going to see some fast times probably in the low 25s. And I think if one of these alien-esque drivers can really put one together, we might see one below 225. That's going to be one to get really excited about. But a lot of these drivers are going to be shooting for 225s as they were putting in 226s in practice. And that was that big section of cars in the top 10 that were all very close. We're all in the 226s. Letra's Sloth going over the left-hander at turn 6, down a little bit on his fastest time. Not too much though. Maybe he's got some room to gain in the back half of the track. Here he goes downhill to turn 8. Not too shabby. And then into the Carousel we go. So we see Ed Christetter put in a 2:26.2. That puts him up to 3rd place. Sloth coming into the kink. Nice and tidy. Looking good. Through Kettle bottoms here, coming into Canada corner. Hard on the brakes, hard on those upshifts as well, trying to get that car slowed down as quickly as possible. Over the Bill Mitchell bend, the left-hander, maximizing that track width. Coming through into turn 14. Ooh, that looked nice and patient. Yes, just on the edge of the rumble strips. That was very clean in that second half of the track. I wonder if this is going to be a faster lap here for Letra Sloth. He's got a 2:25.4 to beat at the line. Oop, yep, just a little bit slower. And that's not going to improve his time. But still, not too bad. All right, we're about halfway through this qualifying session. And as it currently stands, Milt has run the fastest lap, a 2:25.4, very solid lap. Darky is about 4/10 back. Pavone about 6/10 back, and then Letra Sloth, Gustetter, and Deep Cuts. And just as I say that, Pavone puts in a banger of a lap. Very nice. A quarter of a second off of Milt. That is a very strong 2:25.7. That would be 7 flat. Let's find another driver here. We've got Jort, who's just heading through turn 1 here. Let's follow along and see how his lap goes. Now see, that little bit that he just straightened out before turn 3 here, that was turn 2. Again, the track map not quite matching up with how the drivers feel as a turn. I can see the chat's found the cheese emoji and the chair emoji. Keep those handy, boys. You're going to need those a lot throughout the race. Love to see it. All right. Jort rolling through the turn 5. Looked pretty clean there. Over the blind sweeping turn 6. Looked a little wide off the apex. That could be a little slow for him. Downhill to the turn 7. That looked very clean. Oh! Okay, and he caught it, but oh goodness, you saw that back end really come around. Jort doing everything he could to try to get that power down as soon as possible. He really wants to put in a good time and be competitive and bring glory to that Penguin Aficionados name. Speaking of bringing glory, up now in third place with a 2:25.8 is Trainboy 2005. We spoke of him earlier being that dark horse in today's race, and there he is in the third place. A very good lap from him. All right, let's catch someone who's about to start their lap here. Let's follow along with Chiba here. Chiba's just started their lap. Chiba filling in for Trev Hummer. Oh, I seem to have picked a bad time to put Chiba on the screen here, as he touches the grass coming up to turn 1 and nearly spins the car around. But he does a very good job of hanging on to it, making sure the car stays nice and clean. Oh, and he's still wiggling around. Maybe he's still trying to get those tires warm, or just trying to get the feel into that car. It doesn't look too stable so far. All right, we've got Milt coming to the line here. He's currently sitting the top of our qualifying session. Here he goes through turn 1. Let's ride along with him as he puts in this lap. See if you've got something even faster to show us today. And my goodness, that turn 3 looked awful clean, ladies and gentlemen. He is on it today. You can see he really is putting the tires deep into those rumble strips to essentially widen that track as much as possible so he can carry just that little bit more speed through the turns. See, he puts the whole car over the rumble strips here, and that just makes the track that little bit wider. Perhaps that's where the secret of speed is for this track, and that's why he's a little bit quicker than everyone else. As I say that, he just dives a little bit too hard into, is that turn 8, I believe? Yes, I'm sorry, into turn 6. That blind left-hander, he just pushed a little too hard and perhaps lost his entry point into that blind turn and just slid a little wide. It's going to invalidate his lap. Let's see if we can ride along with anyone else here. Who else is out on the track still? Let's see if Ed Christetter has anything to add to his qualifying times. He put in a good lap early, but hasn't been able to rise higher than it so far. Ed Christetter filling in for one of the Red Cat racing teams today. One of those excellent looking cars. Let's get an outside view here. I believe this is the Cato Rosso team. Looking great. Ed just sliding wide there in turn 1. Is that the fastest way through the track? If Ed Christetter thinks it is, then it very well could be. A little bit wide through turn 3 as well. Coming down the straight into turn 5. That looked nice and clean, a little bit wide on the exit. Into the blind left-hander turn 6. That looked pretty good. Really maximizing the width of the track there. Almost into the grass. These cars have nice fat wide tires that provide plenty of grip at any speed. But you take those tires away when you touch the grass and they really start to ice skate. It's really dangerous for these drivers to touch the grass, especially as they enter those braking zones. It can really over-rotate the car. We are winding down as this qualifying session reaches 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Laps are about 2:25, so drivers are going to be starting their final laps here shortly. Christetter rolling through still. My timing doesn't seem to be updating on my screen here, unfortunately, but that's no big deal. Through turn 13, the final turn, 14. That sounded nice and patient. Oh, but it still went. He still went a little wide. It's so difficult to remain patient through turn 14. You can really pitch it in there like so many other corners, but you have to be patient or you have to be a little slower, both of which are really difficult to convince a racing driver to do. Alright, we've got Darkius approaching the line here. Looks like his previous lap time was disallowed. So he'll be starting a fresh lap here. I say that, and he's into the pits with 1.5 minutes to go. So that's going to be it for Darkius here this qualifying session. Looks like we had a car off there. Back in the pits, that was Alvignac Touri. We got deep cuts rolling through here. He might be one of our final drivers to put in a time. There's a big gap behind him to the next driver on the track. Coming through turn 13. He'll keep left to set up for turn 14. Nice and tidy there. He'll be able to get a good run up the hill to the Road America straight. While Deep Cuts is rolling up the hill here, I'll keep an eye on the track mini-map here on my other screen to see if there's anyone running a particularly fast lap. Oh goodness, yes, we do have a couple of folks running particularly fast laps. We had Ed Christetter set a purple first sector time And just as I was about to announce it, Milt swoops in and sets a new purple sector 1 time. So we are going to have some hot laps coming to the finish line, as no new laps are going to be allowed as Dion crosses the line and improves his time up to 12th place. All other drivers behind Dion are currently in the pits, so Dion's going to hold on to 12th. Good lap from him. Only 2 seconds off the leader at this point. All right, Ed Kerstetter. Ed Kerstetter crosses the line and takes pole with a 2:25.4, less than a tenth of a second ahead of Milt. Can Milt respond? Milt coming through turn 14 right now. He is approaching the final turn. He also was up on his fastest lap in the first sector. Sector 2, not quite as quick, but not far off the pace. Let's see what he can do. He's about to hit the line. 2:25.40 to beat. He's got a 2:25.2. Oh man, that's a strong lap right there. Good job by Milt. Unless we see something crazy happen, I think that's going to be our pole sitter. We've got, let's see, who is this coming in to put in a time? We got Letra Sloth coming up the hill here. Sloth was down on his first 2 sectors. I'm not sure if he can improve here, but he's got 6th place right now. He crosses the line, no improvement there. A solid 6th place for him. That'll put him just behind Darkius, unless Deep Cuts has something to say about that. Deep Cuts coming up the hill. Crosses the line, up, no improvement from Deep Cuts. We've got 2 cars still rolling out there. Whoops, wrong key. Oh, and there's one of them. Pavone has put in a amazing lap. Oh my goodness, just short of Milt, a 2:25.24. And that is less than a tenth off of Milt, but still 2nd place. That will move Kerstetter and the rest of the field down a position. Train Boy in 4th, Darkies 5th, Letra Sloth in 6th, and that is all cars completed with their qualifying run. So one more time we're going to run through. Milt with the pole, 2:25.20. Pavone 2nd, Kerstetter 3rd, Train Boy 4th, Darkies 5th, Letra Sloth 6th, Tom Jack 7th, Deep Cuts 8th, Jort 9th, Automated Luxury 10th, Subnai 11th, Dion 12th, the Newbie 101 13th, Alvin Yakitori 14th, Hoove in the move. Excuse me, Hoove on the move in the groove is the correct way to say that. 15th, Transbacon is 16th, and Chiba 17th. I'm looking at this list. I feel like we might be short a driver. We currently have entries from Husky and Aaron Fiedelack. I do not believe they were able to set a time, whether that was on purpose or by accident. But they will start in the rear, just behind Chiba in 17th. So we got 19 cars on the grid for today's race. 20 including my pace car, which will not partake, of course. And we'll just be waiting for a short cooldown period for the drivers here. Train Boy, good to see you in the chat. Congrats on your 4th place, buddy. That was a very strong lap. The top 3 are all within 2/10 of each other, and then the top 7 all within 1 second. So this is going to be a very solid race. It's going to be at least some close-by racing. I don't know if we'll see a whole lot of side-by-side, but if that slipstream effect really is as strong as it was playing out in practice, unless someone can really break away, we might be seeing some pretty good close racing. And there There we go. There's the start of the cooldown period. So we've got a minute and a half here of cooldown until the race grid is permitted. If you're watching along right now in the chat, let's make some predictions. What are we going to see this race? Are we going to see Milt with his third win straight? Are we going to see Tullio Pavone come in and dominate this race, his first race? Are we going to see Ed Cressetta return to form and run away with this one? What's going to happen with Team Spectre? Darkius is normally one of those names you see up in the top 3, a little bit lower than usual in 5th. Team Spectre with their new paint, will that bring them newfound speed? Being the best looking car on the track is in fact worth at least 10 horsepower. Iceman's calling for a new winner. I think that's going to be the most interesting thing we could see happen today. I am excited to see that happen. But I think no matter what happens, we're going to be looking at some pretty solid and exciting racing. Okay, so we've got 1 minute. The cars are going to start gridding up here. Yep, there they go. I got to hit the race button and return my car to the pits. Or so I thought. I might have to wait until the start of the race. Oh dear. Well, we can just ignore that cool-looking Mercedes there. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait until the race starts. No big deal. We're going to start... let's see, where should we start? Somewhere in the mid-pack here. Lights are coming on. We're going to keep an eye on Subnice car as the race is getting ready to go. 6 lights on. Cars are ready. Lights out, and away we go. Milt pulls out to a strong start. We've already got some 3-wide action there in the back. I'm going to hit back to the pits so that we can avoid the issue. All right, coming to turn 1, we've got Milt and Trainboys up into second. Trainboy going a bit wide to avoid some trouble. Lots of cars all over the place because of that extra runoff, but it looks like it's okay. Let's move back here to that first major pack. We'll go back here to about deep cuts. Everyone's still pretty close together. Must have been a good, clean start for all drivers. Deep cuts up into 6th place. Trainboy now into 3rd with Darkius in 2nd. We've got Trainboy and Cressetta side by side. Trainboy on the inside. Oh, and Cressetta steps out a little bit wide on those cold tires. Trainboy retains 3rd place. Oh, and there's a spin behind. That looks like Deep Cuts. Okay, Deep Cuts able to get back going. It looks like the cars ahead slowed, and he had to jump onto the brakes, and it just really upset the car there. Letcher Sloth in 8th, trying to make a move on Pavone here, who has fallen back from the start. Having a little bit of lag here, as it says Tom Jack popped into 1st place for a moment. I think that's just a little bit of lag. We can let that resettle back into place. Alright, Sloth on the outside here, Pavone on the inside. We've got that slipstream action as well, with Jack moving up ahead of Jort ahead. And it looks like Sloth's able to make the move stick. He will move up into 7th. Pavone falling still into 8th. All right, where we are rounding the final turn 14 for the first time. Let's roll through the current standings. We've got Milt currently in the lead. We've got Darkius in second, followed closely by Trainboy, who is looking inside going into turn number 1. He's got the slipstream in the inside, side by side into turn 1. Lots of runoff room. I think yep, it looks like Darkius is able to hang on to the position. Kristetter in fourth, licking his chops. Trainboy still nice and close on the rear of Darkius. Let's ride along, see if he can be close enough to slipstream past into turn 5. He is gaining, but the turn approaches quickly. Darkius goes defensive, cuts off the move to the inside. Trainboy goes outside. Oh, and it's very close side-by-side racing. He's still on the outside. He's going to go outside on turn 6. Just gets a touch of lockup. He's going to let Darkius go and give that move another try. We've got some cars moving around in the mid-pack. Let's keep an eye on that as the large pack has formed around the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Got the newbie 101. Currently up in 8th, and a big train following that slipstream effect, causing a big wad of cars. Looks like Automated Luxury is taking a look around the outside of Carousel. There's no move really to be made there, but he wants to make sure that he is filling the mirrors there of newbie. He is all over the back of him here as they go through the kink. Looks like maybe a little bit of understeer from that. Oh, looks like maybe some lag has occurred and caused an incident up ahead. All drivers behind getting through okay, maybe? Oh, we got a slide behind. Oh, and they've caught it. Who's that catching that slide? Is that Dion? That's some amazing car control by Dion into the grass sideways. He's still trying to fight for that car. Looks like a touch of lag has caused an incident up in the field there. Move on as we see who is that behind. Deep Cut's making a move on Alvin Yakitori. What a dot. He really sent it up there and really made it stick. Let's move up to the front, make sure things are still quiet up there. We've got Milt still in the lead. Now we have Ed Kristetter making a move around the outside of Darkius. Trainboy has fallen a little bit back. Ed Kristetter really sending it around the outside, using the extra real estate. Darkius isn't taking it laying down. They're still side by side going through turn 3. Darkius is going to pull ahead slightly here. But I think Ed is still persistent and still going to hang it around. Try to keep the inside into turn 5. I don't think Darkius has cleared him yet. Nope, they are still side by side. Okay, side by side, hard braking into turn number 5. And they're both using up that extra space on the track. They are still side by side going over the blind left-hander of number 6. Darkius just falls off the track a little bit now, and he's under attack from Trainboy now as Ed Kristetter squeaks past for second. Or better yet, does Darkius have a response for Ed Kristetter? All this battling for second is really benefiting Milt, who has pulled ahead to over 3 seconds in the lead. Coming down now to the kink, all drivers with a little bit of room there, so they should be able to let their arrow work for them, but Trainboy's got a run. He's looking around to the outside of turn number 12, Canada corner. He's pulling ahead with that slipstream. He's got the outside. Ooh, and he pulls off the move, I believe, but he really runs wide there on Canada corner, but he does clear Darkius. That puts Trainboy up into the podium position, 3rd place. And Darkius is still all over the back of Trainboy. Darkius makes a move up into turn 14, and he takes the position right back. Trainboy right on the tail of Darkius. Let's ride along with Train Boy and see this, oh, pardon me. Bad cam work by me. We see Train Boy gets the slipstream. He's going to look outside of Darkius around turn 1. Tulio Pavone puts in the fastest lap of the race. He's down in 6th place. He'll be moving back up. Train Boy on a knife's edge around the outside. What a move by Darkius. He really threw it in there. And Darkius is going to be back in 4th. But now that puts Darkius just behind Train Boy. And we saw it just a moment ago. Now Darkius has the slipstream. He's going to look inside into turn 5. He's looking inside early. He might actually clear Train Boy here. Before the turn, Train Boy, no, not letting him have the room. He's going to be late on the brakes. Go hard around the outside. Ooh, and they've pulled even. Not a lot of space between the two cars. They pull into turn 6, the blind left-hander. Train Boy still hanging around the outside. He does not want to let Darkius go. Darkius finally clears into turn 7. I have a feeling they're not done yet. As they pull here into Carousel, let's look a little further back here at some other action. We've got Transbaconist and Dion fighting for 13th place here, with Chiba not far behind. Dion takes a peek to the inside of Bacon, doesn't see the move, gets real close to the rear end there. And just up ahead, we've got Husky and Alvin Yakitori going too wide through Carousel. That's never going to work. Husky was stuck around the outside. He's going to tuck back in behind Yakitori and try to make a move here as Train Boy takes back 3rd place from Darkius. Oh goodness, he thought about it. They thought about going too wide through the kink, and there is just, you need every bit of that track to make that turn work at maximum speed. So going too wide through there is just a recipe for disaster. Husky moves inside, takes a peek. He doesn't quite have the overlap, but he may just be playing mind games here with Alvin. He is all over the back of that car. As they roll through turn 13, Alvin gets a good run through the Bill Mitchell bend. Husky a little bit sideways there, going into the long turn 14, and they're going up the Road America Straight. Is he close enough for a move in the slipstream? He is gaining slowly. Yet turn 1 approaches. Is he going to make a move here? He pulls inside. Yet he gets alongside before the braking zone. And just a gentle touch of side-to-side car action. And Yakitori doesn't have the room to come back onto the track. Husky comes together with Yakitori. The cars behind are catching. That puts Transbaconist and Dion right on the back of these two. And Yakitori spins on the outside. And Bacon is caught up. So is Chiba and Hoove. Oh no. It was all going so well. No cars retiring from the incident, but they are slowed and getting back together here. Now the fight's between Dion and Husky. Husky gets a touch of grass there that may slow his exit going up to turn 6. Is still within 1 second of Dion here. If Dion makes any sort of wiggle, wobble, or off track, Husky is going to be all over the back of him. Let's actually move up to the battle for 5th as Jort and Pavone think about having a too wide into the kink. Jort actually lets Pavone go. That promotes Pavone up into 5th place. Meanwhile, up in 3rd, got more action as Train Boy and Darky is still battling, and one of the Cato Rosso cars in the incident earlier gets caught up in the mix, and that disrupts the move. Hang on a second, that's not a Cato Rosso from the early incident, that's Ed Kerstetter. Ed Kerstetter's got a moment, and now Darkius and Train Boy are in the top podium positions, and Ed Kerstetter's right back behind them, trying to get into the battle. Meanwhile, Pavone, who's been falling back and back as these three battle, are getting closer and closer. He's within a second of this group here ahead, and that puts Jort within 2 seconds of them. And we got 3 wide going into turn number 1. What's going to happen here? Ed Kerstetter commits. Train Boy goes sideways. Darkius grabs the inside. He's going to pull up and gain the position. Ed Kerstetter grabs 3rd place. Train Boy recovers the spin, doesn't lose the car fully, but that's going to cost Train Boy some points, or sorry, not his points, but positions, as Pavone and Jort were able to get by with the slide. Grab some water here. Things have gotten really insane here. Pavone now on the back of Kerstetter. Kerstetter waiting for Darkius here to have any sort of moment or anything like that. These guys have been lifelong rivals the entirety of this, not only Formula Pals, but Racing Pals since they've become into existence. Pavone trying to get into the mirrors of Kerstetter. He's less than a second behind, only about a half second behind Kerstetter as they go into the carousel here. Now we can see 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all within 3 seconds here. If we have any more incidents like we had behind, there's going to be a lot of position changes up front. Julio Pavone not quite close enough to benefit from the slipstream off of Ed Kerstetter, but he is absolutely close enough to make use of any incident. As you know what, I think Kerstetter may have been slow through Canada Corner there, turn 12. He seems to be much closer. Let's ride along with Pavone as they go into turn 14. If he can get a good run here, and that looks nice and clean, but so did Kerstetter. If he can get a nice run here, he might have a move on Kerstetter to go up the tall hill on the Road America Straight. I think he's close enough. Kerstetter already going defensive. Pavone's going to go around the outside, see if he can make it work. They are side by side going into the braking zone. Pavone tries to brake hard and locks up one of the rears, and now he has slid around just as Train Boy did the lap before. He's had to bring the car to a complete stop to catch it, but he did not put the car all the way around. And heartbreak for Pavone as he was battling for 3rd and just put the car into a slide there. That promotes Jort up into 4th and Train Boy 2005 up into 5th. Down in 12th place, Letrasloth and Husky now battling. They are side by side going into turn 3. Both looking quite careful, driving very respectfully. No more incidents, please, as they say to one another. Letrasloth has the car ahead, but Husky's got the slipstream as Husky pulls outside as they approach turn 5. They are side by side coming braking zone. I think Husky's actually pulled ahead here, but he hasn't cleared Letrasloth, not quite. They are still side by side. Turn 6 has been a big decider for these side by side battles in the first sector as Husky lets Letrasloth go again. He'll give it another try. That's going to let the newbie 101 also into this battle here, as this is now a 3-car fight for 12th. Newbie 101 having an excellent run through the carousel. He is on the back of Husky now. If he can really nail the kink, I think we might be seeing a move here at Kettle Bottoms. He's all over the back already of Husky. If he can avoid the understeer from the air, it looks like he gets a clean nose through the turn. And he's now pulled out to the right. That'll be the inside here coming into Canada Corner, turn 12. He's to the inside to Husky. Husky is going to let Newbie 101 by. A good move there. My graphics are just having a terrible time of holding on to positions and trying to figure out what's going on here. I think I might be having spots of lag too, throwing cars all over the track momentarily and really disrupting things. I do apologize if it's causing any trouble watching the race here. Got a battle here for 8th. Fiedelac, Subnight, and Deep Cuts all within a second or so. Are any of these three close enough to benefit from the slipstream of one another as they head down the moraine sweep under the Sargento Cheese Bridge? If you had any question about where we're at, it's Road America, baby. The only racetrack in the world that has a cheese bridge, I'm sure. Looks like Subnight had a peek inside, or maybe he was going defensive there for Deep Cuts. As looks like Deep has pulled onto the rear of Subnight. Oh no, it looks like Fiedlac's gone wide here on turn 6 and put the car around. He's stuck on the racing line, but no cars immediately behind, thank goodness. I don't think that interrupted the race too badly between Deep Cuts and Subnight here. Oh, and Subnight's done the same thing. He's spun around here at turn 8. Deep Cuts with nowhere to go, bumps into Subnight. It didn't look like too serious of a collection there, so I believe Deep Cuts is going to be okay to pull off and continue racing. That's going to put Subnight right back with Aaron Fiedelac, who is who's now being raced by Dion. As it always seems to be, especially here in the mid-pack in these Formula PAL cars, it's whoever can avoid those mistakes, those sticking out the rear end too much on exit, putting the car in the grass on the brakes, over-braking the car and over-rotating. These are the sort of things that are just wrecking a lot of our drivers' races in the mid-pack, and those that can avoid those mistakes end up usually at the top of the mid-pack. Dion's about 3 to 4 tenths off of Aaron Fiedelac here coming up to the Road America Straight. I think we might see a slipstream move. Dion's definitely gaining on Aaron here. Is he going to be close enough before the turn number 1? I'm not sure if he will be. He's going to peek inside at the last moment. And, oh, he really sent it, and it really stuck there. Good move by Dion to get past Aaron. Meanwhile, up in 5th place, we've got Tulia Pavone and Trainboy side by side going into turn 5. Tulia going very wide on entry there. Really cutting back, trying to get that speed. Now he's got the inside on Trainboy into turn 6. That was a very good move. Not quite the best line through turn 6, but he is ahead and got the inside for turn 7. He's going to pull ahead of Trainboy. He really set up that move quite well and executed it in turn 5, really. Meanwhile, up at the front, Kerstetter has gotten past Darkius for 2nd place. At Cato Rosso, a fill-in driver today, Ed Kerstetter is. Not the usual driver we see in Cato Rosso, and he is making that team so pleased to have asked him to drive today. Up at the front, Lonely is the head that wears the crown. Milt up in 1st place by 10 seconds. There has been non-stop battling for the 2nd and 3rd place positions, allowing Milt to absolutely run away with this one. He's been doing well for himself. 2nd, as we mentioned earlier, Ed Kerstetter. 3rd place, Darkius. About a 2nd behind Darkius, we have Jort. I think Jort's rather pleased with his current position he finds himself in. Jort qualified in pretty solidly in the mid-pack, and I really wasn't expecting a result like this one in the practice, but he's really shown up and done well for himself, avoiding the trouble like we mentioned earlier, if you can avoid the trouble, you can have a good race, and I don't think I've seen Jort in any trouble today. Not too far behind 4th place Jort, we have Pavone and Trainboy, still close, but it looks like Pavone is starting to pull away from Trainboy. Pavone 5th, Trainboy 6th. 7th place, coming down to turn 1 now, is Tom Jack. And then quite a ways behind him is Deep Cuts, now in 8th place. Subnai behind him quite a ways in 9th. And then just behind him for 10th place, looks like Aaron Fiedlak's trying to make a move on Dion. Trying to get that position back. He's got the inside. He hasn't cleared Dion just yet. And he has cleared him into turn number 3. That's going to make Dion a big target here down this straight as they get the slipstream. Let's continue through the field and we'll come right back to this. We've got the newbie 101 and Dion, Aaron Fiedlak battling, and then we got the newbie 101 and Letra Sloth not far from each other as they pass under the Sargento Cheese walkway. Just behind these two, we have Husky, and then it's a pretty sizable gap back to Alvin Yakatori, who we saw get sideways earlier. We've got Hoove here in 16th as he passes under the bridge. And then 17th, also caught up in an incident earlier, we have Transbaconist. His Koopy machine looking battered. It's seen better days. And then we have 2 other drivers much further off the pace here, also involved in incidents earlier. We have Chiba in 18th and Automated Luxury in 19th. All right, bouncing back up to Aaron and Dion. Aaron still ahead of Dion as they go through the carousel. Dion's certainly close enough to make a slipstream move into Canada corner number 12. Yep, and there goes Dion here around. Let me get that angle up. Right, there we go. Goes around the outside here for Canada corner. There's Aaron. Doesn't want to slide too far out wide, but that inside line is just hard to beat there. They're still side by side as Pavone puts in the fastest lap of the race at 25.7. Excellent lap time on race conditions and fuel. This is a great move here. Dion around the outside of turn 14 gets past Aaron. Now don't get me wrong, that was an excellent move, but now that puts him in a very vulnerable position for Aaron to come right back into turn 1. And there we go, Aaron peeks inside. He didn't quite have the overlap he needed to make that move, so he pulls back behind Dion to follow him through turn 1. There's turn 2. And then into turn 3, hard on the brakes. Dion a little defensive on that line. Aaron right on the rear of Dion. He's going to be able to make a move down the sweep under the Sargento Cheese walkway. There goes Aaron to the left. It's going to put him around the inside of turn 5 once they arrive. Here we go, hard into the braking zone. Both cars, no lockups, nice and tidy. Dion goes for the cutback. Another good move by Dion is going to give him the inside into turn 6, which has proven to be almost unbeatable so far. And we prove it again. Dion pulls ahead back into 10th place. A very good move. But Aaron's all over the back of Dion looking for a way past. Aaron's going to choose the outside here into turn number 8. And you know what? I think he's done it. By George. Some really good racing here for 10th place. Aaron and Dion are giving it their all. No one's going to settle for a position and just ride out until the time runs out. No, sir. They want that position, and they want it now. We're going to see if Dion can make a move here. Oh, what a catch. Wow. Okay, yes, Dion struggled with that understeer from following Aaron through the kink at maximum speed, and just put 2 tires in the grass there, nearly losing the car. We're going to bounce up to the battle for 4th place as Pavone has got a slipstream run on Jort in 5th place and is looking for position. Pavone a little, he wanted as much room as possible going on the inside there. He has made it stick. That car has looked incredibly fast all session. Just Pavone with some tough luck on the start and just early in the race. I believe this is Pavone's first race in Formula Pals. Perhaps those pre-race jitters didn't clear in time, but he's certainly making good work of his of the racing here. Keep up the good work, Pavone. As quickly as he caught Jort, and Jort's been hanging on to Darkius, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a battle for 3rd here shortly. We're going to bounce back to that great battle for 10th place that we've been watching. Aaron and Dion nice and close, but also a battle for 12th here. We have Letrasloth and the newbie 101. I don't think this is the first time they've been close together battling. They've had some pretty fun and exciting racing so far together. I think newbie 101 is just outside of the slipstream range here. He didn't seem to gain very much down that long straight. Into turn 5, Letrasloth right on the apex and right on the rumble strips on the outside. He's looking nice and consistent. Meanwhile, up ahead, Aaron and Dion have separated. There's now a 2nd between them, so we'll keep an eye on this battle for 12th. It is the closest battle currently for position on the track. Up in 3rd place again, Darkius and Pavone, I think, are slowly starting to reel each other in. Pavone's already pulled a whole 2nd onto Jort. He is on a mission. Time starting to wind down as this excellent race at Road America has been going for 30 minutes. That leaves 15 minutes and 1 lap left for these drivers to make their positions up. And this one is far from decided. In my ear here, it looks like Kerstetter is catching up to Milt. I'm not sure if Milt perhaps had a moment, but at one point Milt's lead over the 2nd place car was over 10 seconds, and that has now just dropped below 8. I don't know if Kerstetter's going to have enough time to catch up to Milt, or if perhaps Milt is just making sure to keep his car on the track and heading the right direction. But that's another thing to keep an eye on as this race progresses. Bounce back up to Aaron and Dion as things have heated right back up. Aaron's got the slipstream on Dion as they pass under the Sargento cheese board. And, oh, Dion goes defensive, but Aaron says, I'm going to the left, and you're going to have to deal with it, as he touches the grass there trying to get by. Aaron goes inside. Dion out wide. They touch a little bit. Both want as much room as possible for turn 6 here. Aaron around the inside. It's been tough to beat so far. That didn't look very comfortable, though, for Aaron going around the inside. Dion actually gets the better run and gets the better entry into the next turn there. But Aaron is not taking it, laying down. There he goes around the outside of turn number 8. Will that leave him the inside for the carousel? I believe it will. And that's going to leave Dion out to dry, as this long, long right-hander is a bad place to be caught outside. And there we go. Dion has fallen behind Aaron. But they are still very close. They're coming through the kink here. Watch for the arrow wash. Dion does a good job of making sure that a little bit of his nose sticks out. Oh, Dion really sticking it into the inside here. Makes his move early. They're side by side heading into Canada corner number 12. And Dion makes the move on the inside. Aaron and Dion have been fighting hard for what feels like the entire middle section of this race. There was a big line of cars at the early portion of this race, and then an incident really upset the running order there, as it looks like Aaron got a little sideways there into 14. He's still within slipstream range, though, so that move is not going to hurt him. Is he going to have enough slipstream to make a move into turn 1? Dion's already moved into the middle of the track. They're going a little defensive. Aaron makes a late move to turn 1. Dion leaves him the room. I don't know if Aaron... Oh, Aaron's just got wheel to wheel here. He had a little bit of trouble getting the car comfortable with that late move. Dion, oh, almost... Oh, what a slide. Dion really put that car around the outside to try to hold the position. Did a good job of hanging on, but then here comes Aaron under the Sargento cheese board. He's got the slipstream. He looks outside, he feigns outside, he goes inside. Down the straight into turn 5. Here we go onto the hard braking point, side by side into turn 5. The inside's been pretty dominant here so far. Aaron's able to clear Dion. Dion's looking inside to make a move back. I don't think he's got the overlap. He does not, so Aaron's going to hold ahead here. These two have been fighting rather ferociously. Letra's Sloth now in the picture. Oh, and Dion gets a wheel on the dirt there. Oh, Aaron runs wide into turn 8. Dion a little slow earlier in the lap there, but now Aaron a little slow. You know who isn't slow? Letra's Sloth. Now he's on the rear of Dion. This battle for 10th now has 3 cars. Oh, Sloth goes wide with that, that aero wash causing the car to understeer. He did a good job of controlling the car. Doesn't look like it slowed him down one bit. It looks like he was thinking about a move here into Canada corner. He's going to hold off. He's got a nice long straight after turn 14 to try to make a move on Dion. He is all over the rear of that car. Nice and clean through turn 14. That was actually cleaner than Dion. He's going to be able to make the slipstream move even sooner than expected. Look at how steep this hill is on the Road America straight. They run uphill. They are side by side. Dion's actually pulling ahead here of Sloth. I think Sloth might be running higher aero settings. Sloth isn't able to pull wheel to wheel, but he's still got the inside line here. Dion's going to make the dive in. The car squirms a little bit in the inside, but he's going to hold the position as Sloth. He's going to have to wait for another opportunity, it looks like. We're going to look up here into the upper part of the standings. It looks like Pavone may have had a moment. Jort has gotten back past Pavone, and Pavone's back with Trainboy, who has been shadowing Jort pretty much since the midpoint of this race. So I do believe Pavone perhaps had a wiggle moment, and he has fallen back. He really was pushing that car to go as quickly as possible, and it probably did cost him a little bit there. And we have a car off the track up ahead. Who was that? That's Darkius. Oh no, Darkius. Fourth place leader, not leader, fourth place car. Had an off there in Canada corner. He's pulled back onto the track just ahead of Trainboy here. That's going to put Darkius... my goodness, my scoreboard's just losing it. I believe that's going to put Darkius in 6th. I'm sorry, yes, he's going to be in 5th here. Trainboy, just on the rear of Darkius. He's reeling him in with that slipstream. Darkius already going defensive for the inside line. Trainboy takes the outside lane. They are side to side here, coming into the lap excuse me, coming into turn 1. Trainboy takes the outside, looks pretty confident there. Darky is nice and tidy around the inside, but that's going to cost him the position. So Darky is with a moment in Canada corner, putting him ultimately down to 6th place. Oh no! Again, Trainboy has a moment, a wiggle into turn 3. He's got to bring the car almost to a complete stop there to hold on to it. That's going to have him fall back deep here into 6th place. Let's move back over to, oh, Darky's wheeling the grass there. Let's move back into the battle for 11th now, as it's turned into. Lecherous Sloth has gotten by Dion. Must have been a slipstream move down the front stretch, but here they come down the moraine sweep under the Sargento Cheese walkway. And I think Dion's got a slipstream. Sloth already going defensive. He's grabbing that left edge so he can have the inside into turn 5. There goes Dion around the outside. He's going to give it a try. Oh, Sloth broke early there. Must not be confident on the brakes there. Whoa, lets Dion go, but Dion goes wide there out of 5. Sloth still all over the back of Dion. Down into turn 8. Coming into Carousel. Sloth still very close to Dion. Not much of a move to make here in the Carousel. Oh! Oh no! Dion's gotten sideways and collected Lecherous Sloth. Oh, how unfortunate. They're stuck in the sand right now. They're both going quite slow. Who's that coming behind? That's the newbie 101 that's going to benefit from this. He's going to go up 2 positions. Dion looked like he was trying to get as much as he could out of the car in Carousel to get a speedy exit, and it just started to drift sideways. Sometimes the only thing you can do to hang on to this car when it starts to run sideways is to stomp the brake, and unfortunately that kind of leaves the cars directly behind you with nowhere to go. So Dion and Sloth with a bit of an incident there, but they continue on, no retirements there. We've got under 5 minutes left in this race. The leader Milt still up on 2nd place by 8 seconds exactly. And then a very sizable gap beyond that. Lots of battling across the entire field. This has been a very interesting race. Lots of moments here and there. But someone who hasn't had any moments is your race leader, Milt. He's been running squeaky clean. Qualified first, and he's just been doing a great job up front. Second place, still Ed Kersetter. In 3rd place, we've got Jort. Another person who's been running a very squeaky clean race. The Penguin Aficionados have been very strong in this race. I think Jort has had an excellent race. I don't know if my vote counts, but I think Jort's had the driver of the day vote for me, as a touch of lag has had Pavone drift through the kink there. That's obviously not what happened, but man, it sure did look cool. All right, just behind Pavone we have Darkius, and then in 6th place we have Trainboy. Another sizable gap here to Tom Jack. And then deep cuts in 8th place. We've got Subnai in 9th. Subnai's been kind of quiet in this race so far, but he is in the top half of the field, running pretty strongly. The front of the car is indicated he's been a part of a couple smash and bangs today, but he's rolled with it and done quite well. All right, in 10th place, we've got Aaron Fiedlack. We've been watching him the second half of this race quite a bit, battling with Dion and Lecherous Sloth. But Dion and Lecherous came together, which has allowed the newbie 101 to put his car into 11th. Dion's in 12th. Letcher Sloth in 13th. Just behind Letcher Sloth, we have Alvin Yakitori in 14th. Oh, hang on, we've got a moment here. Oh no! Aaron! Aaron's gone off! Let's see, where in the track are we right here? This might be... Yes, that's in the straight here between turns 13 and 14. What happened there? Wonder if Aaron went too hard on the exit of turn 13. Got a wheel in the grass now. Well, the newbie 101 taking my advice and avoiding the incidents late in the race that has promoted him up into 10th place. So we have Letras in 13th, Alvin Yakitori 14th, Husky, here we go, in 15th place. Not far behind is Hoove in the Red Cat's car. 17th Automated Luxury, 18th Trans Baconist. Bacon was having such a great race and was involved in a big incident mid-race, and that's left him back here in 18th. And then Chiba in 19th, actually one lap down here. Let's move back up to the battle for 3rd place here. Jort and Pavone have gotten close together. Pavone fell back with an incident, and now Jort's over 10 seconds off of Cassetter. I think Jort's had an incident. And that's brought Pavone and Jort together here. Darkius a few seconds behind them. If they start to battle, and Darkius really turns it on, this could be a 3-way battle for 3rd, but as it stands now, there goes Jort round turn number 14. And here comes Pavone with the slipstream. We are coming down. There's going to be basically this lap and one more to complete it. Milt put in the fastest lap of the race. And I'm silly me for trying to suggest that he was trying to just take it easy and keep the lead. Looks like Pavone clears Jort before turn 1 even commences, so he's going to get by. Is Jort going to be able to respond with a slipstream move down the Moraine straight, or sorry, the Moraine sweep with our cheesy bridge? Pavone really trying to get the most out of the track there. May have touched grass and slowed him down. Jort's definitely close enough for a slipstream move. Pavone goes defensive for turn 5. Jort's still hanging around the outside here. They're side by side coming into turn number 5. I think I heard a lockup there, but things look good. Pavone keeps the position. Jort took it easy there. He's still in the wake of Pavone, not too far off. As it stands now, Pavone's done a good job of recovering and has put himself in for a podium position. Lead timer has hit 0, so this is the second to last lap. We'll take a peek at leader Milt here. He's currently in Canada Corner, so he is on the final sector of the track. Coming through turn 13, the Bill Mitchell bend. And on to 14 here to take the white flag. We come over the big hill here. And there's the flag man. Maybe not waving the white flag physically, but race control has put out the white flag. And Milt has 8 seconds to play with Ed Kerstetter behind him. Let's take a peek back at 3rd place here. Looks like Pavone has pulled out ahead of Jort. I don't know if he is close enough for slipstream now. But I don't think Jort should worry too much. Even a 4th place finish from his starting position is a solid one. Okay, and here they come down the moraine sweep, coming to our cheesy walkway. Our views from it. What a great shot there. And Pavone's pulling ever so slowly away from Jort. Some good driving there. Coming into turn 5. Just as I say good driving, there goes Pavone wide into turn 5. Now Jort is on the back of Pavone. Pavone goes defensive into turn 6. He is running a little scared now. Jort all over the back of him. He's now back in slipstream range. They are in the technical middle sector of the track, though. Not a whole lot of time to make use of that slipstream. If Jort can really sink his teeth in here, he might be able to hang on tight. Pavone runs a little wide. Through turn 8, they go into Carousel. Jort's not too far behind. We see a shot from the rear of the car. Jort, a little bit of trouble through Carousel. Looks like he has fallen back, sliding through the exit there. Pavone coming through the kink nice and clean. I don't think Jort is close enough for slipstream now. Unfortunately, just about 8/10 separate the cars. Slipstream becomes incredibly noticeable right around the 4/10 mark. Jort giving it everything he can to try to keep up with Pavone here, driving the Penguins Aficionados car. But as it stands, Milt crosses the line and wins today's race. Congrats to Milt. Ed Christetter, 8 seconds behind. Oh no! Oh, Jort! Jort has spun round, pushing as hard as he can into turn 14. And he goes round on the last turn on the last lap. He's down to 5th. Is Trainboy going to be close enough to grab 5th place away from Jort? Here they come to the line. I think he's going to be able to hold him off. There it is. Jort holds on to 5th. Darky is 4th. Trainboy 6th. All right, we'll pull back here. Tom Jack's going to cross the line for 7th. And we've got deep cuts for 8th. And a little further back here, we've got Subnai coming around turn 14. He's going to be nice and clean here. He's going to secure 9th place, a top 10 for Subnai. Just behind him, a battle for 10th. Aaron Fiedlek and the Newbie 101. It looks like, I believe Newbie 101 was ahead of Aaron no more than a lap ago. See Noob. Oh no! Oh no! Newbie 101 pushing hard to try to get back into 10th place. Has spun the car around. So that's going to put Aaron in 10th. Dion 11th. Newbie 101's trying to get back up to speed for 12th place. I think Letra Sloth might be getting by here. Here it comes at the line, and Sloth's ahead. There's the line there. Letra Sloth grabs 12th. Newbie 101 loses 3 positions with that last turn error. Oh, that's heartbreaking. All right, coming to the line now. 15th is Husky. Just behind Husky is Who for 16th. Automated Luxury coming up the hill for 17th. And coming around turn 14 now is Trans Baconist. I don't have a interval number here for Chiba. He may not be... I know he was a lap down, so he'll be securing 19th of the 19 entries there. So no DNFs today. Some DNSs, but no DNFs. As Bacon grabs 18th there, Chiba will secure 9th place, or 19th place. Congrats again to Milt, our winner. Let's set up some interviews here with our top 3. If there's any drivers you want to see interviewed, put that in the chat as soon as possible so we can grab them. I'm going to start summoning these racers here. Oh goodness, I don't know what Pavone's username is. no longer in the Discord, it looks like, in those that are actively logged in. That's fine. I want to get Aaron Feedlack in here so that he can talk to us about his excellent wheel-to-wheel racing that we saw. So we'll wait for these drivers to come out of their racing rigs and relax, grab a drink, and then join us here in the commentary booth. Alright, thanks again to those for tuning in and watching. Iceman, thank you for the compliment. I'm glad you came in and watched and kept the chat busy with the chair and cheese emojis. Exactly what I was hoping for. At this point, if we were sponsored by anyone, I would just be talking all about our sponsors, but, well, no one's bothered yet. You guys are really missing out. We had at least 2 or 3 people reading this, or watching this today. This would have made a great sponsorship opportunity. All of these drivers are going to watch this stream replay back, and all of their parents, they're going to be so proud. They're going to show their mom and dad. But that's fine. We'll get a sponsor eventually. All right. Hello, Milt. Congratulations on your win today. How do you feel?
Thanks. Yeah, pretty good. Solid day from my side and from the team's point of view as well. So I'm happy.
Very good. You showed some pretty good pace in all sessions today. You really got to pull away in the midpoint of the race when the battle for second, third, and fourth commenced. I made the mistake of saying that you were laying back and just trying to make sure that you made it through the race, and then you set the fastest lap after that. So do you feel like you nailed the setup, or you liked the track, or did it just all come together today?
Setup is definitely very good, but I think that's been proven on several occasions now. Yeah, I was pushing for the fastest lap a bit at the end there. I saw Pavone and or Pavone, yes, I should say in Italian, and Ed were really fast, and I saw some purple sectors popping up behind their names during the race, um, during the middle part and through the end. And at the end, I was like, okay, I got a bit of a gap. I can push, and maybe I can risk it for a little mistake. So I pushed for a couple laps, and on the first lap, I could have had it if it wasn't for the last turn where I made a little slide and was like a tenth off, and then the lap after I smashed it. Um, so yeah, I think the setup is doing fairly well, and I feel like all the others are hunting for it to get the setup right as well.
Very good. Um, this was a really good day for the Penguins aficionado team. You, of course, winning and Jort coming in 5th. You already held a slim lead for the team championship coming into this race, which is only going to grow wider because of this. Do you feel like you have what it takes to take it all the way and win the team championship?
I think so. I think so. If it's always the question if George shows up. Well, he showed up every race this season, so that's good. He like last season he turned up 3 times, and he's already like got that this season, so it's looking good. And I think George had some good pace today, and I think he deserved the position he finished in. He got a bit of luck with people getting slight drifts or spins in front of him, which gave him a few positions, but he kept it very consistent. And I think at the end there, a battle with Pavone, um, which I bet looked very cool on stream. I heard he was like on his still, so I have to watch it back. But I think Jordan and I can take it this season, and my main priority is the drivers' championship, which is looking very good right now. So maybe I can point one eye towards the team's championship and focus on that as well.
Very good. And then my final question: how do the Penguin aficionados feel about the next race at Daytona? That's a big departure from some of the tracks we've raced at so far.
Yeah, Road Atlanta. We haven't been there in a while. I genuinely like Atlanta, but I haven't been there in a while. Also on other sims haven't been there in a while. So we'll have to wait and see. Looking at the previous races and the practice build up to that, I think the setup won't have to change lots. So yeah, it's just gonna be pushing in some laps again, trying to figure out what's the best lines, best gears, and we will see. I think the Penguins are looking good for the next race.
Well, very good. Best of luck to the rest of your season and your next race. Thanks for talking with me. If you could tell Ed and Aaron Fiedlack to report to the waiting room, I would really appreciate it. They're up next.
I could gently move them over to the waiting room. I
Much
think
appreciated.
you must have the power to move them as well. I think.
I do, but
But
I hate moving people when I'm not in the room to see if maybe they're in the conversation about something.
okay, you know what? I will move back to the channel they are in, and if they're quiet, I will immediately move them over.
You know what? That's really great. Thank you.
Thanks for the stream today, man. I'm gonna watch it all back, and I'm pretty sure it's amazing. So,
Well,
thank you
thank
for
you.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Bye bye.
Bye. Again, that was our race winner, Milt. Congrats again to him and to the Penguin Virtuosos team, who took home first and fifth today. They're going to be moving up in the team standings to an even stronger position. Looks like Aaron Fiedlack has moved into the interview waiting room. We'll drag him over for his interview. Hello, Aaron. Congrats on your top 10 finish today. I wanted to pull you in for an interview today. You took up a good amount of the stream today with your battle with Dion. That was an incredible one. How are you feeling?
I am exhausted. That was very difficult to stay on track for that long, battling him that well. I had a lot of fun there, mate. That was incredible.
It was such a great battle to watch. You guys were both so very respectful to each other's space, and no dive
Yes.
bombs or anything like that. It's just whoever was in the best position to make use of the slipstream really went for the move.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you set up your car any differently than usual to try to make use of these long straights today?
I mean, I would like to say I did. I tried to, but I don't think it actually made any difference. So
Well, I just wanted to bring you in here. I'm sure those watching the stream were very happy to say we got a couple compliments in the chat about the wheel-to-wheel racing. So just wanted to bring you in and let you know that we saw it and appreciated it, and look forward to even more next week.
yeah, very nice. Me too.
All right. Do you have any experience racing at Road Atlanta, the next race in the schedule?
I do, yes, although it is not in any open wheel cars, so I'm pretty interested to see how that's going to turn out.
And how do you feel about the round after that, the Daytona infield road course? That's going to be a big departure from some of these other style of tracks that we race at.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting, obviously, with the half oval, and yeah, we'll see if it's basically probably going to come down to whoever sets his car up best for the oval part. So I'll try my best.
Very good. Well, congrats again on the top 10 finish today. Best of luck for the rest of your season.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, that was Aaron Fiedlack. We watched him battle with Dion for about, I felt like half of the stream. Looks like Ed Christetter, our second place finisher, is ready for his interview. We'll bring him in. Good afternoon, Ed. Congrats on your second place today. How are you feeling?
Hey, feeling pretty good. That was a good race.
It was really interesting to watch. I figured the slipstream would play a big effect in today's racing and keep the cars close, but there was even more close racing up at the front than I figured there would be. Um, you didn't really have a whole lot of practice time in heads up to get ready for today's race. Did that affect your nerves at all coming in and racing so close?
Not too much. It affected confidence, like really trying to push it to try to keep up with Milt. But I love racing with all these guys because you can get super close to them, right? And everybody gives you just enough room. So yeah, it was a ton of fun.
We don't hear a huge amount from the Cato Rosso and the Red Cat teams in the Discord. How did they approach you to come and race their car for them today?
It was a multi-million-dollar contract. No, I just I could make it today, and my 1-year-old decided to nap a lot. I got my monitor up, and so I just messaged everybody before to see who needed a teammate, and they seemed like they were down one, so lucky enough to jump in.
Very good. Do you expect to be able to join any more races in the future in the Formula Pals schedule?
I hope so. This car is a ton of fun. I've only raced it a few times, but it's certainly challenging. It took me that whole race to kind of feel comfortable with it, where I wasn't over driving it to get the speed out of it, and hopefully next time I pick that up a little bit quicker than 40 minutes of practice and 45-minute race.
Right. Well, you've definitely got a good reputation of being able to pick up the track and the setup quite quickly. So hats off to you on your second place today. Congrats again. And we really hope to see you in the next round.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm looking forward to watching the broadcast, listening to you call the race, and just congratulate. Train Boy had a fantastic run. I don't know if you caught some of that. Like turn one, man, he had a dynamite start and was up there. I know he had some bad luck late in the race, but awesome job, Train Boy. And then the Pavone, not being a regular, I don't know if he's a regular or not, but he was super quick. I know him and I had some contact going into turn one. It looked like a little bit of warp, so apologies there. But he was super quick. So yeah, hopefully those guys have better luck in 2 weeks.
I agree. Pavone was in that big battle for the top couple of positions was pretty much the whole first third of the stream. It was an absolutely awesome watch, and I hope I called it well when you watch it back here.
Oh, I'm sure you did, man. I'm sure you did.
All right. Well, congrats again, Ed, on the second place. Hope to see you in the next round.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this stream. This is going to be, the VOD's going to be available on my Twitch account, which you're going to be watching it on right now if you're watching it live. But we also plan to upload this video onto the Racing Pals YouTube channel. So if you're watching it there, definitely like and subscribe this one, and turn on the bell. We don't upload very often, so when we do, it's usually something that's really good, that we're really proud of, that'll be worth your time to watch. So absolutely subscribe to the Racing Pals YouTube channel if you haven't already. My name is Jaker the Snake, and I will end the broadcast here. Thanks again for watching.